Bombay lacks bars.
Exactly.
Slow, steady, sustainable.
Yeah.
That is the growth model.
Yeah.
Of course, Hyderabad is today the best market in India.
What do you feel about Goa?
Oh, I think that bubble is burst. People go wrong when they start diluting their concepts.
In fact, we were the suppliers to the Indian Army in the 50s.
Wow.
How many stores do you guys have now?
We have about 200
And all across India.
across 65 to 70 cities, but also including Nairobi and Dubai.
The F&B is a cakewalk. It's
Really?
the easiest business in the world. I sold off the booze or a large portion of it, drank a large portion of it. All tequilas are mezcals. Save the cow. So
Yeah, I think I can't pick a favorite like this. It's a lot. It's not just about the food and alcohol, right? It's about
The experience.
the people you're with.
Yeah.
So each year, I think there are some interesting travels you have. I think one place I don't know, you've been telling me about Bangkok coming up in a big way.
I'm going there.
Yeah, Bangkok.
Today.
Solid city.
Solid, improving a lot, I suppose, in terms, especially the F&B.
What do you feel about the Delhi excise policy?
I think it's the worst excise policy ever made.
Yo, sit the low on knife wonder maybe. We got your girl undulating to the rhythm of the drum. Wet t-shirt looking like a vacation. Take it off like Monday, baby, and there will be no underrating. So please.
We've already, it's always kicked off. Like, as soon as you walk into set, like, it started.
Some good bloopers and stuff like that as well.
Exactly. We love that. So, what are you guys listening to on your way here?
I was listening to Keynote and Kendrick. Jake.
Okay, Aman's really cultured when it comes to music. That's my old partner.
Is hip hop culture.
It's hip-hop culture.
Yes. I love hip hop myself, but I wasn't listening to anything. I had to knock off a quick email, actually. So I was,
Big business guy.
working in the car. No, I forgot to actually send. I was meant to send my potential distributor in England the agreement, and it just has been slipping my mind for the past 3-4 days.
Okay.
So then he just sent me a text. I was like, oh my god, shit. Let me just quickly send this out. Yeah. We anyways export this stuff to Singapore, Thailand, and the US so far. And these guys are very keen in the UK. They're like, listen, with the amount of Indians, you guys practically run this country,
Right.
which we do.
Yeah, we do.
Literally, she's hot is there, right?
Yeah.
So, so they're like, listen, we want to take the distributorship and we want to pump it out to all these Indian restaurants, bars, and also the top 50 restaurants and bars. And, so I said, okay.
You were at some point a part of that list as well, right? Like, PCO was a part of that list at some point. Top 50 globally or top 50 in India?
Asia.
In Asia.
Yeah. Top 50 Asia. We've never managed to crack the global thing. That's actually why right now I'm shut down. Pizza's shut down for renovation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, 12 years old. I've never
Exactly.
renovated once.
Right, 12 years old.
So that's...
And I remember that was one of the first few places we went out. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Because you came in a couple of years later.
Right. No, but since the time I've been going out, I of course know of PCO.
Yeah.
And how it's been able to sustain for so long.
And ahead of its
as
time,
long-running.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
The whole pin code thing.
Exactly. And that's what Speakeasy is, right? Like,
Proper speakeasy, yeah.
you see people talking about the speakeasy culture now. Okay, we're opening a speakeasy. I'd like to draw an analogy here now that we're talking about speakeasies. So, I met this guy who's walking his dog, right? And I asked the name of the dog. It was a beagle as a breed. And they said, I asked him what the name of the dog is. And he was like, it's a beagle. And I was like, I can see it's a beagle. But he's like, the name of the dog is Beagle. And that's what people have been doing with speakeasies today. Like, just for the fuck of it, everyone's like, yo, we call it a speakeasy, but there's absolutely no concept of it being a speakeasy.
Yeah.
You bringing in that experience 12 years back was like something that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I believe that would be the first one.
That was
Right?
Exactly. That's why I was a part of like all of these lists as well, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when did you first go to like PCO in your life?
Man, that must be in college.
Yeah.
Sure. Because I think, in fact, I remember during school days, we used to go to the clubs, and the club culture shut down pretty early.
Yeah.
Like, I remember maybe when I was at 24, 25, I think that's around the time, which is almost 10 years ago. I think we used to go to clubs, and I remember those clubs in GK what's that club called? Cookie or something.
Oh, of course, Cookie.
I have no idea.
Didn't she? He had something to do with Cookie, right?
And there was this guy, DJ Rummy.
DJ Rummy, of
That's
course.
right.
DJ Rummy.
And but there's one place that has been there forever, almost, Kia, right? So
Right.
Kia was the starting point, and then I think as you grow older, you also start going for experiences, and then obviously if you're traveling and you see the speakeasy culture outside, you want to experience it here. And that's what we really liked about PCO. Also ahead of its time, not only just concept-wise, but also the cocktails.
Correct.
Yeah, some of the cocktails, some new cocktails you're learning every time you're going there, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, I'd love for you guys to come when because the new cocktail menu that we will be putting in is next level. It's really out of the box. I don't know if how it'll be received and stuff like that, but it's definitely an experience to come.
You guys are the pioneers in this space, right? Of like actually now in 2024, people are talking about, at least in Delhi and Bombay, are talking about like, oh, we have the best cocktails, or we're doing this and we're doing that.
Yeah.
But like you guys actually fucking did it 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but what were your inspirations like back then?
Back then, I used to spend a lot of time in New York. My sister used to live there, and I was in college. I used to go visit her. And there were these bars like Milk and Honey, Angel Share. I'm forgetting what those bars were even called. It's been so many years, 15 years it's been. And they were just the hottest things. It was the, coolest trend.
Right.
Phenomenal cocktails. And it was a more mature sort of place. It wasn't like, in New York, I used to go to a bunch of different places. Some would be like, dive bars. Some would be like bars to like meet girls. Some, like different kind, or nightclubs, the pink elephants of the world and stuff like that from way back. I don't even know if they exist today. But I thought that this concept was very cool. And I knew that, India, especially in Delhi, the most annoying thing for me to go out would be, I enter, there's a bouncer that's looking me, acha, juto ye,
Screening.
ghadi nahi hai, So I was like, why can't you just filter people from what your product is?
Exactly.
So I said, okay, we'll play jazz. I've had so many people come in and be like, oh, Bollywood nahi hai? Nahi hai.
Yeah.
And then leave. They'd have
Yeah.
to drink respectfully and leave.
Right.
And and that's what's helped us maintain that good crowd for 12 years, because
Right.
that's where a lot of people also go wrong. They start seeing a little bit of money come in and they really pump the place, right? They start really and they do phenomenal numbers for 6 months, for a year, for 2 years. But then what after that? You need longevity of a business.
Exactly.
Right? And we thought that, just keep focusing on our product day in, day out. And our loyalists will be loyal as long as we're loyal to them. We give them a good time every time they come. They'll keep coming back. And that's all we've done.
No, correct. But at some point, I've been to PCO and there was some sort of security outside.
Yes. You've had to do that,
Exactly.
because
Delhi culture.
Delhi culture, at the same time, when you operate till the wee hours of the morning,
Yeah.
people are quite inebriated. They're, a little feisty. So just for the protection aspect of it, but it's not like, you're dancing downstairs, having a good time, and you're looking at like some big guy in your face.
So I have a question. I think in the middle, gin became the most popular drink.
Yes.
Is it still the case, or tequila has taken over?
No, gin is still very popular. In my restaurants and bars, we do sell most agave spirits. We sell tequilas, mezcals, and Agavepura. But gin is second. Whiskey is third. Then vodka, then rum. Rum's actually, and people say, oh, rum's having its renaissance and rum is coming back and stuff like that. Doesn't reflect in my sales.
Yeah, that's not the case.
It just doesn't.
But in India, of course, dark liquor like rum, whiskey has the bigger market.
Rum and whiskey is the biggest. but
Exactly.
I'm only talking about my restaurant.
Your bars.
Yeah, my restaurants and bars. I think the kind of clients that we attract are a lot of the agave spirit.
Correct.
We cater to that strata of the demographic. So yeah, and today, to be honest, when I go for a wedding or when I go for a house party, you know, if there are like 30 people, there'll be like 11, 12 bottles of agave spirits, tequilas, mezcals, and Agavepura, 2 bottles of whiskey, 1, 2 of gin, 1 vodka.
Tequila has been, I mean, agave spirits, agave forward spirits have been the trend since the past 3 years, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
And now I'm seeing mezcal. You know, there's a lot of improvement in this space.
Correct. People are down to explore that taste has become better post-COVID. Like they want to spend on experiences, on fine dining, on going to bars, having cocktails.
Also the health aspect of it.
Exactly.
So, you know, this is actually the healthiest thing to drink. It's good for your gut. It's, you know, the morning after, like I drink copious amounts of this. I have to be at office at 10 a.m. and I need to be functioning at 100%. You know, so this helps me do that.
Yeah.
I can knock back.
And that's what brings me to like tell the both of you, you're very diverse people. Like, in fact, Rakshay is the first guest on the podcast I've had till now that I haven't had like a interaction with before. It's purely on the basis of what you achieved. That's what I was telling Aman before you even came in, that like it's purely on the basis of what you achieved, and I've seen your product. I love it. I relate to your products, whether it be Pistola or the restaurants, Jamun, Pings, SAZ, your cocktail festival. That's been your journey of like being in premium fine dine. Aman, on the other hand, like has done more QSR projects.
Yeah, on the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah, and you went and you start like your other business apart from restauranting is alcobev. Like you have an alcoholic beverage. Aman has a gym on the side.
Non-alcohol.
Non-alcohol. He has a gym on the side. Your beverage is also non-alcoholic, which is Keventers, of course, the milkshakes. So, Aman, you tell me, like, what has inspired the journey for you to start a gym?
Okay, gym actually came in later, but the starting point was obviously Keventers, and just a couple of years into Keventers, probably year 3 or year 4, and that's when I had the opportunity to travel outside. And I remember going, I mean, this particular year, 2018, 2019, I was extensively traveling. I was going to the US a lot. Spending a lot of time there, also going to the UK. So these are obviously major cities, right? London and New York. And what I saw there was something I'd never seen before, at least in India. The fitness industry there.
Correct.
The gyms that they have.
The wellness culture.
The wellness culture. Wellness culture also sort of comes in. It's obviously captures both.
Yeah.
But fitness specifically, it was different. Like we're used to certain kind of gyms here where you walk in, you have a membership. Yes, it'll have some services like spa, etc. I mean, sauna, steam, etc. But mostly you're coming in, lifting weights, and you've got trainers. And to be honest, training has not been the focus area here. At least the trainers have not been the focus area, for especially personal training. So I stumbled upon some of those concepts there. I remember going to Barry's, Rumble, One Rebel, and yes, I mean, we took some inspiration from that. It was not imitation. We learn from some of these things. We Indianize it. We see the market, and that's something we thought we'll bring it in India.
I'm super excited to have WIP sponsoring today's episode because they're the ones behind the scenes helping creators like me bring ideas to life. WIP sits at the intersection of technology and art, empowering storytellers to transform their visions into reality. In this AI-driven age, they're the champions of authentic, human-led content. Whether it's series like this, performance art shows, or even concerts, WIP gives us the platform to share, create, and shine.
So
fantastic. What's your journey with Keventers been? Like, I mean, how did it start? When did you start it? How old were you?
2015. In fact, it's my first thing ever.
Exactly.
I was interning at Ogilvy.
Nice.
Creative agency.
Yes.
I was always more on that side of things, like whether it's planning or design, etc. You know, because obviously and I was an intern, so I was obviously doing multiple things there. So as soon as the internship got over, I think I stumbled upon Keventers.
So as a brand,
yeah,
was it running at the time? As the old Keventers, or if it was short?
In fact, nothing. So a friend of mine, he's my partner and he's a co-founder, Agastya.
Right.
his family has owned the brand name of Keventers, right? So
Oh, I was wondering, like, how did you have the vision of, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just beautiful stories to me.
and the story is very interesting. I think this is firstly named after Edward Keventer, a Swedish dairy entrepreneur who came into India in 1898
Wow.
as a consultant, who started opening factories around and primarily selling milk from 1920s to 1940. Pre-independence, this got sold to Ramakrishna Dalmia, Agastya's grandfather. And all until the 1980s or 90s, the business was running primarily as a factory business. So they were selling cheese, casein, they were mostly dairy products. Milkshakes came towards the end,
Which year?
which is probably the 70s, much after ice cream and milk. In fact, we were the suppliers to the Indian Army in the 50s.
Wow.
So a lot of legacy here, and it's been passed on through generations. But you know what happened was there was no business happening, at least from 2000 to 2015.
You still have that one flagship store.
No, that's a different story. So
Okay.
what happened was we had distributors back in the days, which was kind of like the franchising model. The milk production and the factory was in the diplomatic zone in Malcha Marg. And we used to supply these milk bottles across all these stores. And there were plenty of stores, probably like 60, 70 stores. And once the factory got shut down, so the stores remained. So they as in the distributors wanted to continue the business. And they were running it, even though they didn't own the brand name, they were running it. So in hindsight, I mean, if you think about it, they kept the brand name alive, the distributors, though they never owned it.
Got it.
And 2015 is when Agastya and I, we were in the same university. We in fact did one startup before this, so like a college startup on football. And he mentioned to me that, you know, there's a brand, Keventers, and I don't know if you know about it. I said, of course I do, because I'm from, you and I are from the same area, Columbus and Modern School.
Yeah.
So we used to go to Connaught Place a lot, right? And that was one of the places where you could grab a beverage.
Correct.
And so I knew the brand, and I always felt like, you know, there are a lot of brands out there. You talk about Wimpy's, you talk about Nirula's. Of course, Nirula's has
Wenger's as well.
Wenger's, and these brands really need to, I feel sometimes they need to scale. Of course, they have their own history, their stories. Some people don't want to scale. Some people have issues in the sense like family issues, maybe, trademark issues. But Keventers was one of them, and I felt like it had to expand. Like we have to take this brand everywhere. It's so scalable in nature. If you think about it, the space requirement is only about 500 square feet. Typically, a subway goes upwards of 600-700 square feet, and capex is much higher than ours. In fact, 500 would be our highest ever. Like, probably don't go beyond 500. We have even made stores at 100-150 square feet.
Nice.
So that makes the unit economics very attractive. So your capex is 1/3 or half of a subway, and your sales are per square feet are probably the highest in a food court. So the ROI comes in within 12 months. But now obviously it's become more because you're opening in other cities and newer, not the best of locations. So now it averages at about 24 months. But I remember the first 100 stores, we were recovering money very fast, and that made a good, good case to
The investor,
Yeah.
And whoever was involved.
How many stores do you guys have now?
We have about 200, and we
And all across India.
across 65 to 70 cities, but also including Nairobi and Dubai. So
I didn't know about Nairobi.
that's a franchise.
Okay,
So so that happened. So one of the mistakes or things we did initially, all are not mistakes to be honest, but our model was more geared towards the franchising.
Got it.
Right? So franchising, if you think about it, is the fastest way to scale without diluting your equity.
Yeah.
So you scale up very fast because people are investing in the brand. I remember opening about 10 stores in a month sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of action there. But obviously the flip side is that you quality control is a big issue. Especially in a country like ours. If you don't go deeper within a city, so let's say we have a store in Sikkim, Now, how many trips can you go? How many times can you go to Sikkim and ensure the quality remains the same? So QC becomes a big issue with franchising. And another thing, this is also relevant to you, perhaps the introduction of aggregators, right? Earlier, the piece, if you see the piece of the pie was going towards stores to us, the franchisee. Now, when an aggregator comes in, they also take away that 10%, 15%.
So now you have aggregators in the middle as well.
Yeah, so it's difficult for 3 people to make money.
Got it.
So that's how I feel franchising kind of got eliminated, because now you have to pay commissions. Over and above that, you're paying royalties.
Right.
And then also sometimes you're in some cases you're not paying royalties, but the raw material is coming through the franchisor. So it's become a bit difficult for a franchising model to exist today, especially in the QSR space, I feel.
But you've still been investing in more QSR models. You're an early stage investor in, if you can talk about it, like Third Wave, Burgerama.
Yeah, I mean, early investor, yes. Burgerama was one of them. Third Wave Coffee invested in these ones, and they're different though. I mean, Third Wave actually came in. They have a very different
model,
different direction they've taken.
Okay.
Burgerama is cloud kitchen,
right?
Fully cloud kitchen.
Yeah,
we're talking about. So slightly different.
Phenomenal product, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. No. But are these businesses profitable?
Yes and no. I mean, store level, of course, they are profitable, but there's a lot of investment that is still ongoing. They recently opened around, so they still want to open a couple of more stores across the country. So a lot of focus towards Bangalore and the other cities.
Right.
I think they've done enough expansion in Delhi, and I think that's perhaps the best route. One thing I've learned, and if I were to do QSR once again, I'll probably want to focus on one city and then move to the next one.
So I've got what I like to do is cluster development, right? You go to a city, you go deep in that city.
Exactly.
Then you move on to the next and develop that cluster so that you hit Goa, that can survive without my head office guys flying in to take a look at this and that.
And that's the mistake we made initially, because we were opening left, right, center everywhere. Nairobi, for example. So we could have, I mean, that could have happened much later, but we were just too excited, I suppose. And we're also young, right? I mean, we have not, at least the co-founding team, none of us had done F&B before this. So kind of learning all the jobs.
Didn't you guys have Saurabh?
Yeah, Saurabh. Saurabh's been in the restaurant
for donkey's years.
Yeah, but restaurant QSR slight different. I mean, there is a bit of difference in terms of, I think you're going more inwards, right? You're making sure you're in fact interacting with the guests a lot. Most of the time you know all your guests.
Yeah.
When we're dealing with, I mean, we're selling milkshakes, so we don't know who's consuming our product in a store outside.
Yeah.
The interaction is very limited, and it's very down to the economics, the cost.
Yeah, it's all Excel ka kaam.
Yeah, so it becomes a very Excel ka kaam. It's true.
Yeah, it is like that. Aman and I are partners, right, in a restaurant as well now.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he is the guy who looks after like everything, sheets, Excel. It's a cool structure. Yeah, he's the Excel guy.
Yeah.
But you haven't ever faced that challenge of like expanding in different cities at the same time. You've always gone to one city, expanded in that city.
No, we also do expand like right now we've got, we just launched Hyderabad. We've got a place coming up, another place in Pune, another place in Goa, another one in Delhi, trying to close one in Bombay. But I've got regional offices in these.
Exactly.
Right? So it's the cluster development thing that I was talking about.
Right.
For me to expand in Pune is very easy. I've got a whole system set up. Everything's there. Head office is in Bombay. It's a 2.5-hour drive, right? If you leave at the right times. So let's say 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
So it becomes very easy. Goa, I've got a self-sustaining, entire setup there.
Are you working in joint ventures in these places?
In some, yes.
Yeah.
Hyderabad is a JV and franchise.
Okay.
So the company invests in a LLP that takes the franchise from my parent company. So I sit as a franchisee and the franchisor. So they know that my skin's in the game. That's a great model, in fact, to scale up without having to put in 100% of your own money.
Yeah.
And maintaining complete control. So, we operate it. We don't leave ops to anyone.
And that's also changed in this space. I think earlier it was primarily a 4-4 model, franchise owned, franchise operated. Then now it's become franchise. Then it became franchise owned, company operated. And I'm not 100% sure, but Paul's, for example, what I've heard is that the back end is managed by the company and the front end is managed by the
I'd
Is it the opposite?
What makes sense in my mind would be the opposite. I don't know what they do.
But they control the kitchen. So
the most important thing is you control the kitchen, control the bar.
Yeah, so that's what.
And front of house you can give.
Front of that is
A lot of mine are the same way. A lot of my JVs and franchises,
You're able to do the quality control in these cases, right?
it's my chefs cooking it. They've been trained under us. They're passcode guys. They've been doing this day in, day out for donkey's years. We know what their caliber is. Same with the bar. Now, front of house, you need those guys that know the local clients. You need those guys that have the local, language in place and stuff like that. So that's why it's best front of house, if the franchisee wants to take care of that, please, be my guest. That's a headache we don't wish to necessarily take on. That's a very good model, actually.
And what do you prefer going forward? Like, because you've seen couple of models in the past.
I feel like before we get into that, I'd love to know your story. Was PCO the first bar that you started?
PCO was the very first F&B establishment. I was actually, funnily enough, running an Ayurveda business back then. I had the franchise for Kerala Ayurveda. I'd set up these wellness centers across Delhi, across NCR. And then I was like, listen, this is not my passion. This is not my true calling. I love drinking, partying, have a good time.
Clearly, you stuck to that, right?
Yeah. And then I said, okay, listen, now I understand how business works in India. It was a bit of a culture shock because I've not lived in India, most of my life. So after college, I moved back and then I understood that.
Were you born and raised in Delhi?
I was born in Rajasthan.
Okay.
And then I lived in Australia, then moved to Delhi for 4 or 5 years. I was in Shriram. And then after that, so I left Shriram after 5th and then I came back for 12th.
Okay.
So, for those formidable years of my life, so that's why my Hindi's complete crap.
No way.
Because I'm Panchvi Pad of Hindi, basically.
Panchvi pass.
Panchvi pass.
Yeah.
And that's what I So it's terrible.
And in 12th, you don't have Hindi, right?
Well, so I went to American school.
Oh, okay.
And there, trust me, no one's speaking in Hindi.
Yeah. Why so many moves?
So my dad was working with Pepsi and every 3 years would be a different post, different position, different location, right? So I've lived in like Philippines, Singapore, Hungary, South Africa, Australia, like all over. And then after my 12th, I went to college in the US.
Right.
And then after that, I moved back and I actually
What did you study in college?
I studied marketing and telecommunications.
Okay. Which college was this?
Indiana University.
Okay, got it.
And there actually in my senior year, I wrote a business plan, or I got a company in India to help me write this business plan. I was a college kid. What the hell did I know?
Yeah.
But they did all the research and all that stuff. And to launch India's first cruise line. So I was interested in, hospitality and that stuff
Back then.
And that's when the 2007, the bust happened. And at that point, we had, a bunch of people who were planning to pump in money. I'd found a great CEO who used to run one of these Princess Cruises or one of these MSC, one of these big cruise liners, Indian guy, Desi guy. And so I thought I'd get him on board and we'd launch this killer cruise, booze cruise, have a casino on there. It was a full scene.
In Goa.
For going from Mumbai
to
Goa and then Cochin and stuff like that. And then the next year to go to Maldives and stuff like that. And, I still would love to do that. But so that didn't happen. And then I thought, this economy is so volatile. Why don't I just do something small with my own money? Understand how the hell business even runs in India. So then I did the Ayurveda thing. Then I got bored.
How long were you doing the Ayurveda?
Ayurveda I set up in 2007 when I moved back. And I ran it till COVID. COVID, I gave it back to the company that I took the franchise from, Kerala Ayurveda. I gave it back, free of cost. I said, listen, thank you so much. I don't have time for this business anymore, but, you guys have been great partners. Please just don't sack anyone and just take the business.
Sure.
I didn't want to keep funding the losses.
Right.
I said, listen, I've got enough of those losses piling up from my F&B business. I can't take on another more loss-making thing. So I gave that back to them free of cost.
Okay, and that PCO happened.
Yeah, and then PCO.
Okay, and then post PCO, like when they...
So PCO really took off. I didn't actually expect me to do that well. So it and
were people ready for a product like that in the market?
I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly they were.
Because in 2012, I was maybe in, I think, 8th grade, so I don't know, like, what was happening back then.
Was it like this since day one? Like the moment you opened, or did it
Pretty
take some
much.
time to bring in?
No. It was...
Yeah.
It just caught on just like that. I remember the first day that I actually invited some people to come check it out. Everyone just started calling their friends. Oh my God, you have to come to this place. Oh my God,
Check
you have
this out.
Yeah, and then that night we just got swarmed. I had not even opened the basement yet. This was just the top floor,
Right.
and people were losing it and being like, oh my God. And then after that, every weekend, just more and more and more people.
Yeah.
And a funny thing I actually did, I had not gotten my liquor license back then, or there was some liquor complexity. So I was just giving free booze.
Yeah. Got it. Because you get the daily license, right? For the days, and
So
then
I was like, no, don't just take it.
Give it
It's fine.
free.
It's fine. So, that went on for like, I don't know, a little, maybe 2 weeks or so.
It started as a cocktail bar though, right?
Always, yeah,
Okay.
always. And then people like felt bad. They're like, listen, just put a fishbowl and like let people donate. Like, this is the third, fourth time I'm coming here this week, bro. I'm drinking beluga. Like,
Yeah.
I need to pay something. Like, it's okay, fine.
You opened a donation box.
I did.
Oh, you did? You should have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the karma that, now look
Yeah.
at,
How
what
old
we-
were you back then when you started?
I
this?
was 27, 28. I was 28. Yeah.
Interesting.
27, yeah.
That's how old you are right now. Huh?
25, yeah. Yeah. And I started my first restaurant now. So like,
Amazing.
maybe we're on the same trajectory. I'm on the same trajectory as yours.
Yes.
I would love to.
Hopefully much above mine, but
Hopefully. But that happened, and then you start PCO.
Yeah.
And then what was the next?
then, I think the success of PCO might have gotten to our heads a little bit because we did our next project, ATM, which was even more, difficult to enter. You need now a membership to enter, not just a passcode. It was, even more
Ahead of its time.
maybe a little too ahead of its time, So we did that, and then we were like, okay. After that, I was like, listen, I want to do a family restaurant.
Right.
Then I did Pink's.
Okay. Shoot.
Then I said, yeah, there needs to be a killer Indian restaurant that I can go to day in, day out and try different things of
Can you
India.
put a timeline to all of these things?
So PCO 2012, ATM 2014. I think Pings came in 2015, 2016. Then Jamun came 2016, 2017. So then after Pings, I did Jamun. And then what I did was, Piku, my chef partner, and we had gone to the US for a trip. My college had invited me to come speak and to do a pop-up, a Jamun pop-up there. And on that trip, we're like, dude, American food is just the best. It's you use flavors from all over. Let's do an American restaurant. So then we thought, okay, we converted one floor of ATM into SAZ. That's how the SAZ brand came up. And it was called SAZRAC back then.
Okay.
And then SAZRAC, the company, threw a legal notice at us. And I was like, dude, I'm doing your free publicity.
Yeah.
You should, pay me royalties, boss.
Yeah.
But then...
He was about to say best, but boss.
Then we changed it to SAZ, and SAZ is just easy. Now we've got about six, seven.
The first one you did in Sundarnagar.
Yeah, that was
Okay, that's still there.
That's still there.
Okay, fantastic. Which is a little different from what you're doing in Vasant Vihar and Vasant Kunj. And
Yeah, Basant Kunj is more of a fun drinking spot, whereas SAZ is more dining. The SAZ in Sundarnagar is similar to my SAZ in Bombay. at Geo World Drive at the ground floor. That's like a proper American brasserie, and it does extremely well, great numbers, great footfall, touch wood, and good product, yeah.
Awesome. Something that you spoke about was you didn't have the license for the first few weeks after starting a cocktail bar. Do you still face that issue of like procuring licenses for everything?
Yeah, for Jamun Hyderabad, I got my license. I opened on May 1st. I got my license when I was there on 5 days ago.
Okay.
I got my license. So
That's quick.
That is still quick. Because I've been sitting at government offices till date.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, clearly not a good job.
You go, but I think Delhi is hard.
you don't go with pockets empty.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, you don't.
Delhi does take a
Oh,
while.
it's all good. All good. It's a public fact. Like for anything that you need to get done in India, you of course need to please whoever's sitting
Even
behind the
elections.
desk. Exactly. Exactly. It is like that. But yeah, during elections, they haven't been handing out licenses at all. Apparently, there are 50,000 licenses all over India that are pending.
Yeah.
And I went to the commissioner's PA, and there are 50,000 in Delhi. There are about 8,000 licenses that are pending, and I went there, and luckily, like as soon as I walked in, she's like, "Where have you come from?" I said, "Defense colony." She went like, "Generally," I was like, "Yes, you know about my license, which has been stuck out of 8,000 whatever licenses that haven't been released. You know about mine, so clearly I'm doing something right. Why aren't you like giving me my license?" So like that's something for people who want to start up in restaurants. How difficult is the process? And that's something that I would like to understand from you as well. What's the market like? Are you making profits? What is the profitability like? What is the market like? How difficult is it to expand in the premium finance space or the QSR space?
Okay.
Yeah, you go start with QSR.
Can I make myself a drink?
I was in fact just going to ask you that. Tani can help you out.
Just ice.
Actually, we got ice here.
Q.
There you go. But yeah, QSR.
QSR, if you're talking about the basic unit economics, I think that's the question.
Sure.
Right? I think...
Or also structuring and how to organize the business.
Right. See, again, I'm not going to speak on the cafe and the restaurant business. I think he's the best person to answer that. But as far as QSR is concerned, I think for us, it's a quick turnaround. I think just quick service, it has to be very quick and essentially using a very cookie cutter strategy here. You have to mostly scale up a QSR. I mean, not like there are QSRs that exist and they can also be one or two, but mostly the idea behind a QSR is to have multiple units, right?
Sure.
And typically much lower in terms of capex. Like I said, for us, it's somewhere in the range of 20 to 25 lakhs. That's very, very cheap compared to a restaurant.
That's how much it costs to open a
approximately 20 to 25 lakhs. But obviously, there's been a lot of optimization that has happened. But it could go up to say a 30, 35 when you're starting. And when you're starting, there are other expenses also, right? You're talking about branding, you're talking about setting up the company, etc. A lot of things like that. So those miscellaneous included. So if for a starter, one would assume it's about 30, 35 lakhs. And of course, if you're looking at adding, if you're selling burgers, pizzas, etc. versus ice cream or milkshakes, for us, the equipment range is limited to just a couple of blenders and the ice cream display machine, right? Sure. Whereas when you're talking about a McDonald's and Burgeramas, so you're talking about heavy duty equipment that needs to be installed. So the cost can vary between 35 to 75 lakhs, I suppose. In terms of retail space, again, retail space for us was much lesser versus the other QSRs. These are essentially the capex requirement that we have: equipment and just deposits, etc., GST, and setting up the space, construction.
Right, but is it something you spoke about earlier was it not being a such a profitable business? What are the profit margins like when you're...
See, store level wise, it's good. It's profitable. I remember always being in the range of 20 to 30% at store level.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
which is very good, which is considered healthy. In fact, the first time when we were in the market shopping, I mean, like looking for deals out there, we also wanted to raise money, and and this is pre-COVID. I remember 27-30% was rare. I mean, you don't really hear that in QSRs, right? But in bars, I think the margins can be much higher, I suppose.
It's so the numbers that at least I read was were that like between 15 to 5 to 15% is what mostly restaurants are making in India. That's the profit margin of restaurants in India. But like again, that's
Like some anomalies.
Yeah.
some no.
Also, the way you structured, why I was telling you this, that's the store level economics. Of
Right.
course, then you have to
HQ level.
your corporate
Exactly.
G&A. Now that can change. Obviously, in that sometimes it's much higher. So you'll be in losses because you're also sort of setting up the team. You front load your costs. So it takes a while to get there. And many of the bigger brands have still not crossed that threshold, right? So corporate expenses can be much higher, and these QSR businesses that I talk about are still not profitable.
Would you start another QSR?
Absolutely. You know, I think as a, you know, when you're starting something the second or third time around, you know, you learned something, you unlearned a couple of things. So it feels much easier. You feel more confident. So I'm definitely keen on doing this. And right now I'm participating as an investor because I also feel that it's important to just do one thing or two things as an operator. If you just end up doing multiple things, it's very difficult.
Correct, because you also pick two industries now, which is wellness and hospitality.
Very different, of course, from F&B, selling milkshakes to...
No, but you've included that in your wellness projects as well, right? Like you've added Pero as a business with Knox.
Yeah, but that's still not the focus area. That's more like that cafe that we built is primarily for the clients that come into Knox. And yes, if I mean, one of the ideas was, and the reason why we call it something else is maybe we can park this outside Knox.
Plug-and-play model, right?
Yeah, because the work is pretty much the same, at least the way we have done it. And the name is separate, the entrance is separate.
But it's a little more premium than your than Keventers for sure, right?
Of course, yeah. We're looking at a very different TAM, Keventers versus Pero.
Right.
I think that you probably can, in the current shape and form, I don't see more than 10 stores maybe in the city.
So I was again reading some numbers, right? And like it's till from today till about 2028 or 29, the market for premium fine dining is supposed to grow 300% in India, which are like fantastic numbers, right? And this was a Forbes article that I was reading. And this is a space that you're in and you've always been in. So have you seen a growth post-COVID, or like what is the growth chart for like people dining out been like?
Yeah, and there's plenty of opportunity in that market. 300% seems a little high.
Right.
But funnily enough, all these new restaurants are all in that segment, premium fine dine, and all are packed.
Exactly, and now you see big industrialists as well getting into the picture, right? Aditya Birla. The fund that Piramal has also invested in is one of the investors in Impresario. So like these big players are getting into like premium fine.
It's only the last couple of years. I remember again going to that time when we were shopping 2018, 2019. That's the first time.
The worst time.
Yeah, and there was only one deal I remember. Olive was the only one that had raised money at that time. Barbecue Nation, again, that's not your...
Institutional money or traditional money?
No, institutional.
Okay.
They're the first ones, I suppose. I could be wrong, but those were...
So it was around the time that I think Zraber got Everstone, AD got... forgetting. Rabo or someone, I'm forgetting. And these guys got LVMH. Riaz got LVMH. And Mama Goto, Kabir and Rahul, they got Goldman. It was, right around that time. And it was like a little before this, I think. It was maybe 2016, 2017, when the space was very hot.
Yeah.
And then it went through a
Absolutely. It was 2020, obviously, of course, that COVID happened. And right out of COVID also, there was the first, the private equity or the VCs, they were still more geared towards the D2C space, right? That was the hottest one out there. Retail servicing took a backseat, but I think only in the last 1-2 years, I've seen some action happening because of cloud kitchens, of course. And that's when we also got, inroads into a lot of these. We started having meetings, and finally we also ended up raising something.
It's in the market is growing exponentially, right? Like you see, once these big players try to enter the market, means like, okay, this is a promising market in the next few years. I feel like it's also related to people's disposable incomes increasing. If I see myself, like as a consumer, I go out so much. I go out maybe 4 to 5 times a week. I'm ordering in almost all the time. So is the lower and the middle strata of society also functioning like that? Like for a Keventers or more massy business, massy restaurants, like do people in that strata also have growing incomes that they can go out as much and like spend more?
Absolutely. I think people may sometimes have, I feel like even these college kids that come to us, they may even have just 500 bucks, 1,000, but they'll be happy to spend that entire money on food. Food is really people are giving importance to it. The idea of eating outside more than eating at home. So, and obviously people are traveling everywhere. There's so many options now. A lot of malls have also opened.
People want better experiences.
Yeah, experiences, yes. Experiences and just eating outside food. I think it's become, the bills have really gone up for most people, especially after COVID.
So, it's the thing to do, right? Come rain or shine, you still want to escape your mundane, regular life. And this is the cheapest way you get to escape your regular life. Go for a nice meal out, forget about all your worries. And your cost of doing that is not much.
Yeah.
So, if people are financially strapped, they'll still go out to eat because they might not go and splurge, but they'll still go out to eat just to escape, And if you're doing very well, then you'll go out and you'll maybe want to pop champagne or spend a little bit more. But going out is not a fad. It's nothing. It's just part of everyone's everyday life. And that's going nowhere.
And look at the apps, right? Discovering has become, Zomato, Swiggy are essentially discovery platforms today.
Yeah.
And it's obviously added a lot of competition for us. Like, look, imagine you're searching for Keventers, and next thing you can also search for our competitors, brands like us. Ratings are there. Pictures are there. So much information. Earlier, remember we calling people to order and stuff.
I still have a McDonald's number, like it's 66 000 666. Like actually used to take out the phone and be like, yo, send some burgers.
Maharaja Max.
You're relying on referrals or businesses around you. Now they're also delivering items. Like if I'm sitting in Delhi, I can order something from the deep end of Delhi, right? Or something touching Gurgaon.
Something from Calcutta also.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
I found it a little sketch, prawns coming from Calcutta in this heat.
Yeah.
It was this.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
No, but like I called for something from Bombay sweet shop. Which was
that
fine.
stuff is good.
Yeah. In a day they delivered. I was like, this is that's crazy.
Those barks where you ordered.
Exactly, the D&D bar. Yeah. What do you feel about the culture in Delhi versus Bombay versus Goa? Because you have restaurants every place, right?
I think Delhi is the most discerning.
Okay.
I think Bombay, you can have an off day. Customers don't care. They don't notice. They're too busy thinking about, boss, यहाँ से वहाँ का पैसे जाने का है और ये वो करने का है. They're busy with their everyday lives. They don't have the luxuries we do to sit and analyze the food. Oh, this truffle, a little over truffled.
Right.
Those are the benefits, right?
Yeah.
Bombay prawns are, very different. It's okay. I'll have a good meal when I'm in south of France. So, like your South Bombay or Banter. And Bombay is, people are less discerning. They're very chill. But I think today, Bombay has overtaken the Delhi food scene, and it's only in the past
I
2 years.
100% agree.
We keep discussing this, right?
Yeah,
It's
this is the
over.
Yeah.
They're killing it.
Yeah.
The new products, like I went to Otra, Alex Sanchez's new restaurant in South
Now,
Bombay.
what is that
Right.
place? That 12-seater? That's all
Papa's.
Papas, right?
I haven't heard.
Try getting a reservation there. Let's see.
It's even difficult getting a reservation at Americano. Like if I go there, I call them on a Tuesday for a Friday reservation, they're mostly like sold out.
Yeah,
Which is
exactly.
also insane.
I think the key difference I also find between Bombay and Delhi is the volumes are just super high. Like the amount of people you see in that is Zoomy or wherever you go, it's just full all the
Can
time.
I tell you why though?
Why?
Because in their houses, firstly, they're the size of a shoebox
Exactly.
because rents are so high. And then in that shoebox, you've got mama, beti, you've got nani, you've got dadi, you've got everyone. You just want to get out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, peace, I'm out. Or if you're living in Bandra, you're an aspiring actor, actress, you're a
Yeah.
model, then you want to go out. You want to be seen. You want to, stuff like that.
Consumers are different.
Consumers are very different. Whereas in Delhi, we're living the laps of luxury, and we've got today I feel like eating Mexican. I'll get it made at home only.
Yeah.
So and we vegetate at home.
People have cooks here. People have like
Much bigger
houses.
Our real estate is cheaper. We've got land. We've got this. Delhi's got a lot of advantages.
Your real estate model in Bombay is very interesting, right? You've taken one building and you have most of your products plugged in there. How's that working out for you? Because your own competition is so like
I think it's a very smart model
I think it's super smart.
because instead of I've got firstly, in case anything does not perform to the level I think it will, I'll make it up from the other place. So I look at one P&L when it's 3 brands on paper,
right.
2 kitchens on paper.
Have you seen this? Have you seen the property?
Theo SAS Cafe and Pings is all from the same location.
It's this one
Old
building.
Brill.
Yeah, right opposite Tony Mill.
I haven't been there.
Okay.
The Bombay ones.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Yeah, you must go to PCO, take a look at the menu we've done there. It's some really cool stuff. Killer cocktails,
Right.
great vibe. It's a bar. In Bombay lacks bars.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've got these, you can go to Mask, you can go to Indian Accent now, you can go to, even if you want something chilled, go to a Bombay canteen, go to an American.
These are fine dine experiences. There's no bar as such.
It's a bar.
There's no bar.
That's the problem. So that's why we want to come in with a proper bar.
Right.
Not a dive bar, not a hotel lobby bar.
High energy
Is
premium.
that your next project? What? A bar, maybe?
I don't even know what I've got coming up. I've got too much stuff happening.
Aman sees an investment opportunity. He's like, hey, can we talk?
No, getting back to what we were talking about a little before this is institutional money.
Correct.
If you're operating in the space that I'm operating, don't go near institutional money. That's, if there's a family office, go after that.
Patient capital.
Exactly.
I think that's the way to go for
Me,
this.
100%, I 100% agree because like apart from me running a restaurant now, I'm doing a podcast on the side. I'm into branding, consulting, doing 3-4 things with institutional money. I feel like it ties you down and you have to perform and you sort of become a corporate employee. That's right, right?
Just have to scale very fast, and they're all looking because most of these guys are putting in money into brands like D2C brands or these FMCG, and it expects the business to happen very fast.
Right.
And for businesses like ours, at least especially is you need to spend time. You need to take it. I mean, you have to give that experience properly before you can take it to the next one.
Slow, steady, sustainable.
Yep.
That is the growth model.
Yeah. I feel like you've slowly and steadily built your structures, your organization. I was in fact looking at your website today.
Oh, it's very outdated. I'm in that marketing team. They're going
Yeah, I'm sure they'll fix it up. But like again, gives me an idea of what the company does, right? And now you're looking to like grow a little more exponentially. You've when you entered Bombay as a market, you were like, okay, I'm going to open all of these 3 restaurants here. Are you doing the same thing in Hyderabad now? Goa also same. Like
Hyderabad, it's been just a month, but yeah,
Very interesting.
I mean, see, I believe in this cluster development, right? I went into Pune. I'm not just going to do one restaurant in Pune. Now let's do a few.
Yeah.
That's how you make the overheads play in your favor.
Economies of scale.
Economies of scale.
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah.
So of course, Hyderabad is today the best market in India.
Yeah, in fact, I visited Hyderabad just a couple of months ago. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Like I felt like, why didn't I visit this place before? And how did you get unnoticed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of establishment, the infra is amazing there. At least the new ones that are coming up. Definitely a
Very
place-
promising market.
Very, very promising. I think, in fact, we were also thinking Hyderabad a lot going forward for almost every particular, for every brand that we're operating.
Oh, I would highly recommend that. It's a gold mine of a place. Over there, imagine it is South Delhi plus South Bombay on steroids.
Exactly what I've heard.
Gurgaon kind of.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
You know, and oh my God, they don't look at the right side of the menu. They're just saying, Acha, I fancy this. Yeah, okay, cool. I will have this. No cares in the world. And they don't order, Acha, could I get a peg of this? Could I get this? I like it. Bring the bottle.
Bring the bottle.
Bring the
Disposable income is super high.
You know, they've made so much money and
Right.
they've got Adate like us, you know, Delhiite.
Yeah.
They've got this mentality, not the saving mentality that Bombay has.
Correct.
Bombay, at the end of the day, they're really smart at saving.
Gujaratis, dude.
Gujaratis, Marwadis, they're killing it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, they own Bombay at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, whereas in Telangana, in Hyderabad, they're like, dude, I've got my money, I want to spend it, I want to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very Delhi type of culture, and it's they've got a lot of money, and they spend it there, living their life.
And there aren't many products out there either till now.
Quality.
Quality products.
You know, you've got there's tons of great quality products, but they're all the same. It is that Telangana food. It is that, you know, Andhra. It is that type of thing. And there's phenomenal places.
Yeah.
You know, after service and all, me and the boys and girls would go out and have, you know, food at these places, and phenomenal. But it's not like the kind of place that you want to go to and, you know, for a night out and all. It's all that one type of very dhaba-esque, but like, you know, not a dhaba, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, improved dhaba and killer food.
Yeah.
But when it comes to these refined places, not too many
Not
of
too
them.
many, right?
Yeah, I think as a market, they're lapping up everything that comes their way. So please look at Hyderabad
Absolutely.
very seriously.
What do you feel about Goa?
Oh, I think that bubble is burst.
Right?
I think it's gone.
Yeah.
Goa,
But is it seasonal still?
well, not as much. Like, okay, when I opened in 2019, it was like, you kill it, and then expect for this to happen.
Right.
It never happened for us because COVID came and then the whole boom came and stuff like that. So then we were going down, and then COVID came. Then, let's just put that on, it was suspended. And then it just took off, and now it's like this.
Right.
It doesn't ever go down there. It doesn't even go there. It goes like this.
Yeah.
But all the new guys, they're operating like this
Yeah.
because they've not been able to set up brand names. They're new kids on the block. The products are okay. Like someone like an Izumi is killing it because their product is so on point.
Yeah.
Right. So everyone goes through the waves because long weekend okay, acha, I'm booked out. I'm killing it. Over there earlier it used to be about a 6-month season. Today the off season is 2 months. We were chatting about this in office today.
Okay.
That off season is only
June, July. Oh.
April, May.
April, May.
Things are banging today. Yeah. Yesterday sold out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are banging. I mean, the monsoons, the rains have come. Everyone, it's so hot. Who the hell's going to stay here?
Right.
Might as well go to Goa, enjoy the rains. It's lush, it's green, it's so nice.
You spend a lot of your time in Goa now that you started you're making your agave.
I've also got 4 restaurants there.
Correct.
Yeah. So
But you have 4 restaurants in almost every metro city right now. But you have a tequila brand running there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, agave.
There, agave. The distillery is there, and I end up spending a lot of time there. Luckily, we bought a house there a couple years ago, So, it's just makes life very simple. Like, I don't even need to carry a bag. I carry a bag because I need to bring back 5 liters of alcohol to Delhi. But apart from that, I don't even need to carry a bag. My clothes are there. Everything's there,
How's this journey been like? How do you think of starting? Because you started a little before the agave spirit boom, right? Like just a little before. Like, did you predict that this is going to happen?
I'd seen this happening since 2016. One of my very closest friends, Sid Kapoor, he's been on this. He's been, tequila tonic for like since 2016.
And when the West, your friends from the West come and start saying it, it's going to come here at some point.
I mean, he's been on this. He's like, okay, you should drink this bottle. I was like, okay. And back then I was like, I like my gin and tonics.
Yeah.
And then I saw like him, there's so many people just like, I want the good stuff. Only 100% agave. None of this, mixed dose shit. None of these tequilas. I want 100% agave. So then I was like, okay, there is something here. And then, but this is not an easy business. This is the most challenging business I've ever had to do. The F&B is a cakewalk. It's
really
the easiest business in the world. I'll explain why. You pump in money once, theek hai. After that, you're earning from day one. You're, making money. Boom, boom, boom. It's coming in. You're, paying yourself a good salary. You're living a good life. You get such a big social clout from
opening a restaurant.
Opening a restaurant. Huge social clout you get. So there's a lot of things why this is very attractive. And cash flow wise, what do you think paid for this? It was all my F&B. Passcode Hospitality paid for this.
Self-funded business?
Everything is self-funded.
Wow.
About a month ago, Diageo invested.
Okay. Congratulations.
And this is your first one?
Yeah. Our first foray into liquor. First foray into liquor. And they took 15% minority thing. And
okay, the idea came about.
Actually, believe it or not, during COVID. So I was Vela at home. I was like, okay, driving my wife crazy. And I was like, okay, I need to do something else apart from annoying my wife.
Yeah.
So what, let me sit and think, what should I do? And then I came up with a bunch of different ideas. I thought, okay, people have done this, we've done this. I said, tequila is the hottest thing. And I was selling off all the alcohol from my restaurants just to pay salaries and make ends meet. So beers went, wines went.
Where were you selling this?
From all over.
Okay.
All my restaurants were basically sell the booze. And
you were charging a premium and you were selling it?
Not really a premium, very small markup because we buy on discounts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm saying that's fucking smart.
Yeah, no, I mean, it would have gone bad.
Right. Exactly.
Fair enough.
Would have gone bad. So, I started, I sold off the booze, or a large portion of it, drank a large portion of it. But, the first thing to sell out was actually my high-end spirits. All my tequilas and mezcals, the 100% stuff, was just flew. And then I was like, well, sorry, I've got these other brands. I don't want to name them, but, the mixtos of the world. I've got these. People are like, yeah. Okay. So I was like, acha, there is a market here. Then I started, speaking to people, doing my business plans. Mostly everyone was like, why are you doing this? What do you need? I said, listen, I want to do it. It's interesting to me. So I'm going to do it. And it took me about 2 years to come up with mostly everything. And then we launched, so I started working on it in March 2020. April, I think I had my business plan ready, and then I launched it in Jan 2022.
Wow, that took a lot of time.
Yeah, takes
a while. I think it must be the licensing also. Somewhere is that a problem? There's all sorts of
challenges.
Too many.
Yeah.
Business. It's not an easy business.
So you're
especially in India.
100%. You're producing this in Goa, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the difference between an agave and a tequila?
So there are, you've got tequila, which is most of the time a mixto, a 51% agave. Unless it says 100% agave on the bottle, it is a 51% agave. This is standard rule.
Is that a myth that like tequila is supposed to come from a particular part of Mexico?
Absolutely, it has to. So there are
it has
five.
to, okay.
It has to.
Yeah.
There's now 5. Originally, it was just Jalisco, that tequila region, that it had to come from there. But now there's 5 different regions where the Mexican government has granted people to produce tequila. It has to be made out of blue Weber agave.
Correct.
All tequilas are mezcals.
Yes.
Mezcal has to, I think the regions expand to around 11.
Yeah.
You can make it in any of these 11 regions. And you can use, there's about 30, 40 different types of agave species you can use for making a mezcal. So technically, if this was made in one of those regions, this would be a mezcal.
Correct.
However, what I'm doing is Agavepura. It's the agave grows in India. It's grown wild. It actually came to India during Queen Victoria's time. She brought it to India and planted it along the railroads, so the cattle won't get hit by oncoming trains.
Interesting.
Yeah, villagers were protesting, my cows, like save the cow. So first I wanted to name it Save the Cow. Then I thought, okay, there's all sorts of problems, sorts of problems calling it that.
Yeah.
So let's. So then my sis came up with the name Pistola, and that's that. We thought, that's very.
It's got a nice ring to it for sure.
It's got 100%.
Yeah, and then because of trademark and this and that, we decided to call it Maya Pistola.
Maya Pistola.
What's next for this? Like, would you have more variants of?
I've got quite a few variants.
Would it be a separate brand if?
No, we're launching a new brand now, cheaper version for pouring at restaurants and bars.
Interesting.
Okay.
Basically, I think there's a big gap.
Market would be much.
Yeah.
How much does a bottle cost in Haryana?
In Haryana, that costs anywhere between 3,200 and 3,500. In Goa, that costs around 3,000. In Bombay, that costs 5,550. In Calcutta, 4110. In Assam, 3,900. So it varies from state to state. In Karnataka, $8,000.
Exactly. Yeah, Bangalore is.
They're a little loco over there, and they're crazy.
Which has been the most difficult city for you to launch in? Or most challenging, if not difficult?
I think Karnataka is probably not a great place, because you have to pay your duties up front, then it goes, then when it sells, KSBCL pays you. It's a state-run excise policy, and $8,000 for something in a adjoining state is $3,000. Where the sales in Goa are huge.
Yeah. You did.
Is it being consumed in Goa? Where is it being consumed?
Yes.
It's being consumed there and there.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
A very interesting campaign that I saw of yours. I wasn't there, but like from what I heard, because I was very intrigued. I was like, okay, you're a part of this Agave Fest that you're doing, right? He's also been doing festivals. You do the India Cocktail Week.
I do India Cocktail Week. That's it. Agave Fest, we just took part as a
brand.
As a brand. Yeah.
Okay, got it. You couldn't serve your alcohol there because you don't have the license in Delhi.
Yeah.
So you
It'll
Sorry.
be back in about a month. Yeah.
Oh, you had it in Delhi.
I had it in Delhi, and then that excise policy was brilliant.
We saw it. It was fucking fantastic, right?
Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
And now, unfortunately, it's reverted to that old policy. But now I'm coming back in about a month's time.
Interesting. And that time you were serving to people in your the cups, or
A little bit of guerrilla marketing has to be done.
it's fantastic. Yeah. And how did that idea come about? Like,
So I took the stall from PCO's angle. I said PCO is going to take the stall. We're going to do PCO cocktails, but I can brand the crap out of it with Pistola.
right.
So I did that.
Interesting. How are you liking doing these festivals as well? Do you play a major role, or is it mostly?
Yeah, no. So India Cocktail Week is a 50-50 JV between Passcode Hospitality, my company, and the
Honest, right.
and Akshat and Sharan are very dear friends of mine. They do all the difficult stuff.
Yeah.
I do all the easy stuff. They're the sweetest, best partners one could ever ask for. Because all the stuff that I don't know how to do, that's their.
They're king of like production. Like they know how to produce a fucking festival, and everybody in India, like whoever wants to go to do a festival, goes to like Akshat and Sharan for it.
They've got it down to a T. They're so smart. They're incredibly smart, extremely hardworking. They're excellent at what they do. They're thorough professionals. Everything is like tuk on point. So for us, it's just become so easy now because we've pumped out 10, 12 editions of India Cocktail Week. So we, now it's just cookie cutter. It's the same old, picking up the phones, getting the brands on board, figuring out the location. Okay, this is the setup. Oh, this is the special element we're doing this time. We're doing this, that. And yeah, it just sort of just happens. But I mean, those 4 months when they're just back to back, it's like, oh my God, I don't even want to look at alcohol anymore. It's just too much.
What do you feel about the Delhi excise policy?
I think it's the worst excise policy ever made in humankind.
Yeah, fair enough. Aman, what is your take on, do you drink often?
These days less.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, I mean, I used to drink. Yeah. Especially, I mean, I've been a fan of cocktails in the last couple of years, 3 years. So I often look for speakeasies whenever I'm traveling outside the country. So
you both of you have traveled recently. Like what have you seen? Like you keep traveling from what I know. Any cool restaurants or bars that you've seen? Maybe experiences you'd like for bars to do in India?
I mean, city-wide, I can tell you, I've experienced some amazing ones in Paris and Berlin recently. Those were some very interesting concepts, and one such concept was something called Bara Naan. It's a speakeasy selling Indian food. Also, so I think something I never had.
It's called what? Bara Naan.
Bara Naan, like a Bara Naan.
Exactly.
Where
was this? Paris or
Paris? And do you know what they were serving there was, and I've never had it here. So they've got the naan, of course, and they put butter chicken.
Yeah.
And their butter chicken is different. It's not like the butter chicken we eat here, right? It's that sweet butter chicken with a lot of goat cheese, and then you wrap it up and you have it. Interesting. Very. I mean, all the alcohol was inspired by, of course, Indian spices, etc. But that was one of the most interesting experiences that I've had. Like as a speakeasy.
Yeah.
But yeah, these two cities I've been traveling a lot of late.
You, any cool places that you...
I was just in Italy. I went to Rome and to Florence. It
doesn't have to be from your recent travel. It can be like any very super cool place that you've seen off late or like before.
I am the kind of guy I fall in love with every place I go to. I'm like, oh, this is so great, that's so great. In Paris, speaking about Paris, there's a bar called Candelaria.
I know.
Downstairs. What a vibe.
I went there too recently.
Such a cool place. And it, because they've perfectly married fantastic cocktails, great music, great vibe, great lighting. It's dim. It's my kind of place. I just felt so at home in a place like that.
Yeah.
Great place, little red door, stable. And then also like some of the non-cocktail bars, but Gigi, with the view of the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that.
Sure.
Fantastic. And, the musicians that they had, bang on. Food was incredible. Place was packed. That always helps a place. If your place is packed, you automatically, as a customer, you're happier. Having a packed place is very important. I think, these places like this, I'm, inspired everywhere I go.
Yeah, I think I can't pick a favorite like this. It's not just about the food and alcohol, right? It's about the
experience,
the people you're with.
Yeah.
So each year, I think there are some interesting travels you have. I think one place I don't know if you've been telling me about Bangkok. It's coming up in a big way.
I'm going there.
Yeah, Bangkok
in 2 days.
solid city.
Solid. I mean, improving a lot, I suppose, in terms, especially the F&B scene.
Exactly.
Big time.
I have the same idea, right? About things like if I like the place, I want to dive deep into like what's happening in the culture. So last year I was in Bangkok 4 times, like just to see. There's so many interesting things. There's so many record bars, vinyl culture, like really picking up. Hip hop as a culture is really growing in Bangkok. So like I like picking a place, like really understanding like what the culture is like, and then you take any inspiration from it. Like I feel like a lot of restaurateurs and especially in Delhi, they're like, oh, speakeasy, cool. Oh, they'll have a board outside a speakeasy saying, wow, see, we've started a speakeasy with a board and calling everyone, influencers coming, posting, it's a speakeasy. So again, like even if you have to take inspiration, it needs to be done right, in a way, right?
Yeah. You have to, curtail that inspiration to apply it to your demographic, the people that you are going to be catering to. You can't just cookie cutter, plug and play,
Yeah.
I've seen so many brands completely.
People can see through it, right?
Yeah.
People are, we are traveling a lot more,
Exactly.
right? And so you have to go down to, you have to look at each and every aspect of it today. You can't do a half-assed job. Like, even like the menu you pick, you can't just put like the basic drinks today, right? You have to see it. I remember a place in Paris when I went there, so they were celebrating the Indonesian culture, and everything was, imported from there. All the drinks, the story was well written. So you have to do it properly now.
Yeah,
People can-
explain the story. Fair. Today was essentially a masterclass for me, right? Like I had like 2 of the greatest restaurateurs. Aman, of course, being my partner, but I'm like a fanboy of his. And I like the products that he's built.
Where are you guys partners
It's called Genre, the restaurant.
I've been there.
Yeah?
We've been there.
Okay, how do you like the spot?
Oh, extremely cool. You guys did not have the liquor license when I went.
I was still at the office today.
Okay, it's still not.
Okay. But
so Zahil's your partner there,
Zahil's
right?
my
Yeah.
partner.
And these guys have done the food.
Anisha and Jamshid.
Anisha and Jamshid.
Yeah.
We loved it. I went there with a close friend of mine from Basandihar, and this was when you guys had
Just started.
just started.
Yeah.
But ambitious, took a whole building in Defense Colony, and he's a broker. He's a real estate broker. My friend who I went with, and we thought, okay, it'll just be 1 floor. Then Sahil happened to be there, so he gave us the tour. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
There's like a full section here, then like a full section. I was like,
Section.
oh shit,
Right.
this is actually the full building.
Correct.
And man, I hope you get that liquor license ASAP.
Yeah. Which one?
Right now, we're running mostly on breakfast, lunch, of course, but coffee is giving us great throughput.
Like,
It's such an underrated thing, coffee, right? You think, oh, okay, coffee to hoga, but then you start seeing the numbers and you're like, whoa, I'm making this much of
coffee.
Coffee's become like your agave, like it's
Exactly. But like, what do you feel about when you're also running restaurant? You run multiple restaurants. So day sales, is that something that is difficult to crack in restaurants?
I mean, it depends on the theme. Like my SAZ on the beach is a beach club, right? Like,
and city to city. I mean, Delhi might be a bit difficult.
Delhi is difficult.
Yeah.
For me.
Bombay is difficult.
Yeah. So we're hopeful like that.
Why? Your main sales are during the day.
Yeah.
You know?
Correct.
This-
People can get fucked in the day. Like if I can't go to Pings or a Jamun. If I'm eating, I can't be drinking on a Tuesday afternoon in Delhi when I'm there for a work meeting, right?
Yeah.
But
Although you'll see the odd table doing this fun stuff, and I like those guys.
yeah, are you a big drinker?
I am. Yeah.
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 In fact,
If you couldn't tell, I mean.
no, you've had like a single drink though. In fact, I saw you. I've seen you before at PCO, one of those nights when Soupy was playing. Recently, when you had like
Love that guy.
bar takeover
Acha.
from this bar based on New York, right? New York, somewhere in America, if not New York. Tokyo.
Tokyo Confidential?
Tokyo.
You came to that one. Got it.
But that's New York based, right?
No, it's a place in Tokyo.
Oh, it's a place in Tokyo.
It's a place in Tokyo, set up by Holly Graham, who is the head of the chairperson, I think, for Asia in terms of 50 Best.
Okay.
So one of the most influential. She's written a book on cocktails in Asia. She's one of the big, most renowned people in the Asian bar community. Holly, she's an amazing woman, girl. So her bar I called down. So her partner and her husband had come to do the takeover.
It was on an odd date. I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday.
I think it was like a Wednesday.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I saw you from afar. You were enjoying your drinks is what I could see. I was like, yeah, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with this guy.
That's how
and here you are today. But like both of you have any advice for people who are wanting to start up in the restauranting space, whether it be QSR or like premium fine dine?
Yeah, I've got one very important thing to say, actually. People go wrong when they start diluting their concepts. People start thinking, okay, I'm going to now start serving butter chicken sushi in my... I'll start serving butter chicken sushi in my, Japanese restaurant because that's the need of the hour. Boss, stick to Japanese food, keep doing it consistently well, and that's it. Business will come to you.
Exactly.
People get very, very, oh, no, I'm not achieving this. I'm not,
It takes
make
time.
sure your product is good.
Yeah.
Be well priced at a good location, and there's no ways you will not make money. There's no ways, as long as your economics of the business makes sense, your rent is so and so, your staff cost is so and so. Don't go and hire Gordon Ramsay to do a small restaurant, or make sure that your concept is sound and solid, and you stick to it consistently. If you're giving food that is priced 8 out of 10 and the quality is 8 out of 10, and you do that consistently, you've got a banging restaurant. That's what you are. That's what your DNA is. Don't start at 10, then fall to 9, then fall to 8, then jump to 12, and then go down to 5.
Don't digress. Stick to your concept.
Stick to your concept and stick to your consistency.
Correct.
Stick to what you're doing. That is the mantra.
Right. I think especially consistency, I think it trumps everything.
Right.
Actually, the idea is to bring the customer over and over again. And one of the main things, I think it's today become easier to bring in the customer, and if you can spend money on, I'm talking about Keventers, for example, QSR, you spend money on CPC, etc., you'll get the customer coming in. But what you really want is this person coming over and over again, and the repeat percentages to be very high. And that is one of the key things here. So for me, it's primarily about consistency, and whether that's service, your product, your design language, your storytelling. And of course, from time to time, what we've also seen, these businesses can change, times change. Today, people want to have, I'm talking about milkshakes, right? Calories can become is concerning for people.
Right.
So you want to be improvising, changing the product from time to time. And that probably happens once in a couple of years.
Correct.
You don't need to really change that all the time.
Yeah.
Serving the same damn milkshake, the burger every day, and
Yeah.
that's the...
Just keep improving on the quality of what you're serving, and that's something that you also want to do with PCO now. Like if it's not quality of like cocktails, you want to change up the place a little bit. It's been 12 whole years.
Yep.
And
Never renovated.
never done commendable work. I did till today. I didn't know it's been open for 12 years because like it's so relevant today, right? But
Which is getting older, Kunal.
yeah.
Very fast.
Fair enough. I'm just getting started. What you guys are talking about?
No, you're at a very good age where right now the world is your oyster.
Right.
Just have fun, man.
Yeah.
I love to be 25 again.
Always do what you love doing. That's it. That's the biggest mantra to success.
Right.
Just enjoy what you're doing, and it doesn't ever feel like work. You can work 18 hours a day, 19 hours a day. It just doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed. And thanks so much for being here, guys. It was a fucking pleasure having you. And you thought this conversation would be difficult. Like, how will I talk for 90
This is my
minutes
first.
is what
I
you
was
said.
like, I generally do not have the patience to speak for
Cheers. Thanks.
90 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay. We're not rolling anymore, but like,
Awesome.
thanks Rakshay for being here.
No, we've done these before podcasts and all.